Welcome everybody to Ant's podcast. Today I have a special guest, Priscilla Reales.
Hello, hello.
Not everybody at once. So Priscilla is a good friend of mine. I've known her since I was in middle school.
Pretty much, yeah. You're a grade older than me, so yeah. It's been a minute.
Yeah. And Priscilla is also involved in the real estate industry. Her parents do real estate too.
Yeah.
And just tell us a little bit about what you do and what you.
So basically, I started because of my parents. They've been in the industry for like 20-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that I liked real estate until I started kind of just like working with my parents about 3 years ago, and then I took the exam.
Mm-hmm.
I failed the first time I did the state exam, and then the second time I passed, and it's good. I like different things about real estate. Some things, it's not all great, to be honest with you.
So let's talk about the exam.
Mm-hmm.
How was your experience for exam? How did you study? Did you do the cram course? Did you do it online? Did you do a month?
So the best thing for me is always to do things in person. Like all my classes have always have to be in person. It's easier for me. Online, I kind of lose focus and things like that. The classics itself was really easy. I went to Gold Coast schools. Like I recommend 10 out of 10 if anyone wants to go there. It was really easy. The class exam was super easy. They basically just like tell you this is how you do, like this is the answers. The state exam was a different story. That's the thing. I was not prepared because the class was so easy. So when I went to a state exam, the first time I was like, I got this or whatever. I failed by like 4 questions.
You were crushed, right?
I was so upset, especially because my sister and I did it together. And we did like the cram course like 1 week, like 9 to 6. And then when I went to the state exam, I didn't pass. And then after that, the way I ended up passing, which worked for me, was cramming. So the book gives you like 1,001 questions. I did those like twice or 3 times, 1,001 questions, and then I passed.
And you did it in a month? The course was a month?
No, it was a week.
The week? Oh, so
it was a week, so I really crammed. Like I was just like, let me just knock this out like as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
what about you?
I did it the other end. I did the online course. So I registered and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it in 2 months and get my license in 2 months. But I was still working when I was still training.
Right.
And I started at like 2 or 3 chapters, and then I would just leave it alone for like a week, and then I go back to another chapter. So I did that for like pretty much 7 months.
Okay, but let me ask you, did that work for you? Like, was it harder to retain the information since you like stopped?
Kind of, but at the same time, I have like, I think I have some type of ADHD or ADD, whatever it is, because whenever I'm sitting in class, I'm never listening. So even if I go to class, I end up going home and having to reteach myself the information.
Oh, okay.
But what would have been good about doing it in class is, since you're doing it in class, you have more of a deadline and a timeline to do it. Mm-hmm. So maybe that would have helped. Mm-hmm. But what really worked for me is I met another realtor who did the course, but he had a CD. Okay. And the CD pretty much outlined the entire course, and I would listen to it when I was driving.
Okay. And so you like that like internet and like self-teaching more. Exactly. Okay, yeah. We're opposite then, because I like to be in person, like listening, writing down, and then going over it again. Yeah. Because that whole internet thing, like even with my classes in college, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was just like not the same. Yeah. And you can't really ask as many questions as you want to, Yeah.
And then I took the test and I failed it the first time too. And the funny thing is that my girlfriend wanted to celebrate, so I took the test and she bought me tickets to go see Wild 'N Out. So then I called her, I'm like, I failed, and she's like, are you kidding me? Like, I bought these tickets to celebrate you passing this damn exam. Yeah, shout out Isabel. And yeah, so then I scheduled it right away. I'm like, all right, I'm passing like this shit. Like, I need to get this done. So I scheduled it a week from the day that I failed it, and then But the good thing is when you fail, they tell you what chapters you need to work on.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I passed it. And
what do you think was the hardest part for you, like the law or like the math section?
The math I think was the easiest. Yeah. I think the math was the easiest.
Because once you know the formula, it's like that's it. It's just the same thing.
It's just understanding the state test, because the course doesn't really prepare you for that.
You're so right.
So it's understanding how the questions are in the state exam. So you really have to understand the concepts. You can't just really memorize, which is good. Right? We are dealing with money, transactions, and
exactly.
Contracts.
That's what I kind of like that about the state exam, because it literally gives you like a scenario of that, but I wasn't prepared for that. So,
so you got your license, and then what did you do?
So I ended up working in my parents' company with their friend. He's the broker. It's called United Dream Real Estate. I was there for like 2.5 years, and it was great because we knew him. The whole commission split was like amazing. We tried to do like Zillow, so that Zillow like gives you leads and stuff, but it was already so congested. Like the real estate industry in Miami is already so congested that like
the deal there, it's like the wild west. It's crazy.
Yeah, and we ended up paying a decent amount of money for Zillow, and like the leads that would have come from it weren't
pretty much rentals.
And they weren't like quality leads. They weren't like kind of what it was promised with the whole like Zillow thing. But we tried that. We ended up stopping that. Mostly just I did like general real estate with my parents. I did some rentals. I did that, because they already have since they've been in the industry for like 20 years. They already have their set like what's that called? Like referrals. So like people like will refer them all the time. They'll just get random calls and like, oh look, so-and-so referred me. Like, they can, but I started and like they're also not going to give me all of their, so it was really difficult. So I ended up going to like a different section of real estate, which is I'm like the office manager and contract administrator for like a new development in Ventura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I need my real estate license for that because I make all the contracts and I'm like review it.
Is it residential or is it commercial space?
Both actually. I'm glad you asked that because it's a mixed use property. There's like 5 different buildings. Only one building is actually residential. Only like 131 units, and then there's office spaces and a hotel and things like that.
So it's like is it like a whole like parcel that has all these buildings, or are these buildings in different areas?
No, it's literally one parcel, and then there's like 5 different buildings on the property. It's like 8 acres.
And it's it's done and everything?
Yeah,
or they still constructing?
No, they just finished. The residences they just finished back in October 2018. But the office spaces, they're still kind of like building it, like it's sold, everything is sold, except for the residences, we still have some of those, but office spaces were sold pretty quickly. They're just kind of finishing touches for the construction.
So you're basically now doing a lot of contracts, and is it more administrative work, or are you still dealing with clients?
So both. When I first came in, because actually our friend Steph is the one that got me the job. She didn't have a real estate license, so for me, they expected a little more. So when they're unavailable, I'll go show the properties. I need to know everything about the property. I've sat down and like talked to them about everything, but the whole negotiation side, it would be with the in-house agents is what we call them. They're the agents that are always there to, speak to the clients and everything, but I also still do administrative work, which is fine with me, but it's not my favorite. Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember you told me one time that you and your family flipped a house, right? I think your parents currently live in?
Yep. Mm-hmm, yeah.
How was that process?
It was incredible. That's what I want to do long term. Again, it's really hard to do in Miami, but we luckily found our house. It was like honestly out of luck, and like we now have the equity of like $80K in it after everything that we did. The whole process took about 2.5 months. I mean, we gutted everything from the floor, literally the popcorn ceiling. Like we took out the popcorn ceiling, the bathrooms, the kitchen. If you see like the before and after, which I'm not sure if I showed you that one time, but everyone's like, oh, that's incredible. And it's funny because when we first saw it, I was like, we're gonna live here? Like, I don't know. And my dad's very good at that. He had this vision and he like made it come true, and it was a great experience, and I honestly want to keep doing that.
And did you guys run into like any challenges with contractors or anything like that?
No, luckily the contractor we worked with was a good friend of my dad's, so not only was labor like really inexpensive, but they knew what they were doing, and like the only one thing I would say is that the way the air was positioned in the house, we had to move it to the other side of the house, and then we had to add like a laundry room. So it took forever to like, they literally had to like break concrete.
Oh, really?
It was a crazy, yeah, it was a crazy thing. But other than that, it was pretty decent. It wasn't a bad experience at all.
Yeah, flipping is.
Would you be interested in flipping? Or?
I would. My biggest thing is I don't really have as many contractors that I could trust and that I know. So I think that's the toughest thing, especially here in South Florida.
Everything is connections.
It's getting legit contractors. Yeah. There'd be a lot of guys that say they could do. Oh yeah, I got it, and they don't even know half the stuff they're doing. They try to leverage it out, and then. So I used to work with wholesalers. So I used to find the properties that were distressed. Mm-hmm. This was 3-4 years ago, before I got my license. So yeah.
How'd you get into that?
I always liked real estate, and I started hearing about this flipping houses and no money down. I'm like, what the hell is this about? Like, there's no way you can make money by putting no money down. So I used to work at LA Fitness, and I used to sell training. So funny enough, I call this guy on the phone, give him my spiel, and he tries to like get out of the appointment, but I didn't let him because it's my job to get appointments. So I made him come in. I didn't make him, but I convinced him to come in. And he's like, man, I don't really, want to train or anything like that. I'm like, hey, don't worry, man. You could always learn something new, right? This is when I was in the fitness industry. And I asked him, I always qualify people. I'm like, so what do you do for work? And he's like, oh, I'm actually a real estate investor. I'm like, no way. And then I started telling him, hey, I'm interested in this. I've been reading about that. It's something I've always wanted to think about and do. And he goes, well, actually, we're looking for salespeople. So in the process of me trying to sell him a program, he sold me. I'm working for his company. He coached me. So I interviewed with them. They told me what was going on. They'll tell me, yeah, we'll teach you. We'll coach you and everything. And I'm like, whatever, I'll do it. I'll try it out. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to get rich working with them, but I really wanted to learn and see what was going on. Yeah. So my job was to get distressed properties under contract, right? So once I got the contract, I would bring it back to them and be like, okay, we got the contract at a certain price point. And then what they would do is they would find a cash buyer for it. So essentially we're flipping contracts. That's what wholesalers do. Okay. So it was a great learning experience. And, sometimes you don't think about what goes into flipping a property, but it goes into like difficult situations, right? For someone to sell you a house under market value, one, it needs to have work, need work, right? So you could fix and make a profit. But most times you're dealing with, a death in the family. So maybe the mom dies, now the kids have the property and they don't want to pay the taxes, they don't want to maintain it. Sometimes people get divorced, or sometimes what I hear a lot is horrible tenants. So everybody tells you, oh, buy a house and rent it out, you'll make money, you get your mortgage paid off, right? But if your tenant sucks, and if your tenant is a nightmare tenant, he's going to make your situation a lot worse and a lot more difficult. So sometimes these people stop paying. They start, the landlord starts to like say, hey, what's going on? Maybe they start telling them to get out. And then what happens is maybe if they do go through with the eviction process, they start either stealing the appliances.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I've heard some crazy things too. This one person I was working for, I was trying to rent her property, and she was like, my last tenant, like I had to evict them or whatever, and they poured cement down her toilet. Can you imagine
they went to Home Depot, got the cement, got the water, made the cement,
It's crazy. I feel like those things you only see in Miami, like things that are crazy stuff.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I quit. I stopped working there for a while. I wasn't making the money I wanted to, but I learned, what was going on, and I went back to training, and then that's when I signed up for the online course. So as I was personal training, I was getting my real estate license. And then actually my first listing I got from a client. And it was a commercial office space. And that's how I actually I'm focusing now on commercial kind of because of that client.
Right.
I ideally wanted to just do, residential, sell houses and help people buy houses. But I found that the commercial space is, there's a lot of money to be made as well. And a lot of agents actually get like scared. You tell them commercial and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, and it's understandable because there's a lot of liability in commercial, like 10 times the liability.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with like multi-million-dollar buildings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of liability and you got to be very careful with how you word everything, even in email, even in a conversation, because they'll use anything you say against you.
Yeah.
So in the midst of that, I had to get some help because I didn't know what I was doing in commercial. So I got this listing. I'm like, okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
So I started working in the commercial department here with Jimena, the lady you saw earlier.
Yeah.
And then she's so busy. She's got so many leads because she used to work at Fortune in Miami. And that's they only do commercial. It's a huge company. So she has a lot of connections and she's got so much going on that she can't do everything. So she actually gives me a lot of leads to work.
Yeah.
So I've noticed also that the residential agent in the next 5 to 10 years is going to lose a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
Because of companies like Zillow, Redfin. Zillow is actually opening up a brokerage in Miami. Did you know that?
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah. They actually opened up a brokerage in Nebraska or somewhere there. And they were able to take like 20% of the market share in 4 months.
That's insane. Yeah,
Months.
Zillow is no joke.
So, and the worst part about it is that I know you were saying earlier how you bought a Zillow leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing that, Zillow is actually getting a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest issue right now in the real estate industry is that all these other tech companies are controlling all the data and then they're selling it back to realtors.
Right.
So what Keller Williams is doing is they're trying to keep all their data in-house.
Mm-hmm.
So Keller Williams now actually turned into a tech company that does real estate. Yeah, they're developing this app called Command, and it uses artificial intelligence, and based on whatever you like, that's the information it shows you, kind of like what Zillow does.
Yeah.
Because
that's
in the
really
next
smart,
5 to 10 years, I can see commissions dropping a lot. I think ultimately a residential agent's gonna be like a $30 an hour employee.
Yeah. Honestly, no, I agree. I completely agree. Especially because if you go on Zillow, there's like buyer-seller communication is so easy.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to go through an agent anymore, and that's really hard.
The main thing is the relationship that people have with people, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what realtors have going is they need to develop a lot of relationships and then their personal brand. Right. In 2025, if you don't have a personal brand as a realtor, you're gonna be in a tough spot.
Yeah.
So that's why the social media thing is so important as a residential agent, and that's why I've actually focused a lot of my energy into commercial real estate. Yeah. Because in commercial real estate, a lot of the deals are done off the market. Mm-hmm. So especially like a $20 million building, people don't put that on the MLS.
Yeah, no.
Right? They keep it to themselves, and they talk to the people that they trust, that they know, that they do business with. Mm-hmm. So the tech space hasn't really hit the commercial side of real estate yet. Yeah. I'm sure it will eventually. Yeah. But
it's crazy because real estate is such a slow industry to progress, so slow. Yeah. But like lately, it's now just like skyrocketing.
We're the last ones to get hit with it. You saw the cab industry, you saw the movie industry getting hit by it. Even cameras. What's it called? What was that company called? Kodak. Yeah, they got.
What happened to Kodak?
They got put out of business pretty much.
Oh yeah,
because they didn't want to go digital. Yeah. They wanted to keep with the physical copies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, as I was telling you earlier, King of Diamonds went out of business, or they got evicted actually.
That's insane. Yeah. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
My question is, how did they not have enough money to pay their rent? Because that's one of the strip clubs that like nationwide is known because of rappers just constantly rap about them. Yeah. It's insane.
So actually, when they just got bought, not just got bought, but I was reading, if I could find it. Yeah, in 2014, they almost got shut down, but it was sold for 6 million to New York City investors.
The property was sold, or like the company?
The company and the building,
Oh.
everything. So it looks like it's had issues for a long time. Yeah, in 2017, the club owners were hit with a $1.7 million accrued and unpaid interest on their mortgage.
That's insane.
But it's crazy because you had people like Justin Bieber and Floyd Mayweather, they'll drop $75,000 in a night. Floyd Mayweather reportedly dropped 100,000 in a night. And it's not like it doesn't have the publicity. Every rapper uses KOD in their songs at least once.
Yeah, that's an insane amount of money. Can we talk about how, like, money nowadays, like, if you don't have millions, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even $1 million is nothing.
It's nothing. It's nothing. You think about it, I'm like, if I had $1 million, it's like, that wouldn't last me very long because, I mean, unless you invest.
Yeah, as long as if you save it, yeah, maybe you can live off it for like 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to invest and make your money grow, $1 million, it's not what it used to be.
It's insane. You hear about, like, for example, like Kylie Jenner, she's the youngest billionaire, and you hear about like billionaire, and it's just like, that's insane. It's crazy. It's crazy. Do you know anything about the stock market? Or not really? Because lately, okay, just like, no, lately I've been really interested in it because you can make a lot of money in like trading stocks.
Trading and stuff?
Yeah. But it's just, the whole concept to me is just insane because it's so high risk. Like, investing in stocks is so high risk.
Yeah, especially if you're doing it on like a transaction basis to make money like weekly and monthly.
Yeah.
Like, so there's two ways to approach it, right? There's the long term, you just put it in and you leave it there and you wait and you don't look at it.
Yeah.
But I think Emmy, he's actually doing that.
Really?
Every day I went to his house, he's got like 2 monitors, and he's like, one time I was there, he was talking to me about like the drops and the rises, and he goes, yeah, bro, like here, of course, at the bottom, that's maybe when you want to buy, but you don't know if you should buy because it could go down more or it could skyrocket up.
Yeah. So how does he like it?
Yeah.
He looks super into it, and he's doing well?
I don't know exactly, but I mean, he's doing it. I think he's doing okay. I don't think he's a millionaire yet.
Right.
The trading, but he's really into it, and it's very interesting.
Did you ever watch The Big Short?
Yeah, I watched it actually twice.
Yeah, because
if it wasn't for that movie, I wouldn't know what happened in 08.
Yeah.
But I watched that movie.
And then I was mind blown after something. I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And the whole thing how like the interest rates are like were flexible, and that's why people could buy a bunch of stuff and whatnot. Apparently that's like happening again, and they're just like doing it under a different name.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's incredible. Yeah. I want whoever that knows to like hit me up so I can invest right at that moment.
Like, what was that guy's name? Do you remember what Christian Bale?
Christian Bale. Yeah, I forgot his name. Yeah, but oh my god, imagine he literally bet against the whole market, and he won. That's insane. Michael Burry.
Supposedly, at the end of the movie, he said the only thing he invests now is in water.
Really? Yeah. I feel like maybe I should. What do you mean in water?
Yeah, that's what it said. Michael Burry.
That's
water. Yep.
How do you invest in water? What does that mean? And exactly, I really want to know.
Okay, so only 1% of the world's water is available water, and in the end, only 0.007 of the world's total water is available to fuel and to feed the world's 7 billion people.
Oh my God.
However, by 2050, world demand for water is expected to be 40% greater than supply, as a result of increased demand. Rising population and climate change as a result, water scarcity is expected to affect half of the world's population. This is almost scary.
That's really scary, but also let's invest in water because
Yeah,
first of all, this guy knows
doing
what he's doing,
Yeah.
and there's facts or I guess like scientific theories to prove it. And it's totally like credible.
It makes
too.
sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect
That's
sense. So in an
insane.
interview, 2010, Burry said that productive agricultural land with water on site will be valuable in the future. So you want to buy agricultural land?
So let's head to where, like the Midwest?
I guess. I don't know. Growing food in water-rich areas and selling it in water-poor areas is the least contentious and most sustainable method for water distribution. Burry is believed to have been buying up almond farms as growing almonds take a large amount of water. 1 gallon per almond? What does that mean?
Oh my god, that's crazy. So each almond, for one almond, you need 1 gallon of water.
Yeah. So he's buying almond farms.
What
seems paradoxical is that 80% of the world's almond supply is grown in California, that in the past years
like
have
the
become droughts in the state. It's true. Interesting.
I wonder what that's like. Like, are Californians actually affected by this water crisis that they're have? Like, do you know what I mean? Is it a noticeable thing, or is it something they're just kind of like living with? I wonder how it is.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even know California's going through a drought.
Yeah, they're for
I
like
just know they're
15
always on
years or
fire.
something. Yeah.
But I didn't know there was a drought.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know who also like invests? You know Warren Buffett, obviously. I saw this thing. I think it was some sort of documentary that he invests a lot in like a lot of his money in one company. That's how he made his whatever $80 billion or whatever that he has.
Do you know what company it was?
One of them was CocaCola. He owns like a lot of. He actually, I think it's one of the real estate companies. He owns like a good percentage of. Hathaway, Berkshire Hathaway, or something like that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's that one that he also owns. Yeah.
And do you see yourself working at the current company you have for a while, or what are your, I guess, real estate goals?
I mean, I've learned a lot where I'm at, to be honest with you, and it would be cool to work in maybe the development side of the new construction.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, but the real estate side and the sales side, I've always struggled with that. I like selling things that I believe in and that I actually like. And the mixed use property that we have, the new development, is really nice, and I could sell it because I actually like it. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that in the real estate industry you have to try to you have to try to sell because you have to make money, but it's not necessarily that you like it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So the biggest obstacle is it dealing with the emotions of sellers and buyers and getting them to make a decision on where they want to live? Or what's the biggest?
I think one of the biggest obstacles that I've had to do is people want to buy, a 6-bedroom home for like $200,000, and I'm like, you're way up here, and you need to bring yourself down here. Like, this is not how it is, especially in Miami. Yeah. Because I went to Georgia recently, and over there I stayed at someone's house, and it was just a 5-bedroom home, like beautiful, beautiful. She said she got it in like mid 300s, and that's like unheard of here.
Yeah, in Georgia, you get a lot.
That's unheard of here. Miami is so congested, and the prices are just so high, and market value doesn't really exist here. You know what I mean? Like, people.
That's a good point. Market value doesn't really exist.
Yeah, it doesn't. People will buy, if they have the money, they'll just buy it overpriced. It's happened to me a couple of times where the appraisal will come back, let's say at 300,000, the people are asking for 320. And then the people will just pay the extra 20,000 because they want the home, and it's constantly like, I don't know if you've ever had there's multiple buyer situations, multiple offer situation. Yeah. That's the worst. I hate that.
What do you mean? That's the best. That's the problem you want.
is the worst when you're on the buyer side. Because now your buyer has to either go up or you have to go and find another home for them. And it's just a process. Yeah. But
if you're on the selling side,
that's the best. But it also kind of sucks in like a moral way. It sucks because if you're on the seller side and you're just waiting to hear the highest offer, it's like, you know, this isn't what the house is worth, but you're working for your seller and that's what they want.
Yeah.
But morally, is that like the best thing if you know you're making people pay what the house is worth?
Well, if you're a seller, technically, because your fiduciary duty is to look for your seller's best interest, right?
Yeah,
and if you price, and the thing is, if you price your home right, you're gonna get that situation where you got multiple offers.
Yeah.
What I've seen a lot is agents are overpricing homes, and they're letting houses just sit on the market. For a long time, then they get expired.
Yeah.
And then when houses get expired, you have a whole bunch of agents calling them for the business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much not an epidemic, but it's a big issue where, you know, agents aren't as strong as they should be, and they're just taking what the seller wants, but they're not really looking out for their best interest and showing them and listing for what the market wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
That kind of happened to me recently. I'm currently, they're already in the contract, but my boyfriend, his parents were looking for a home.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking, the house was listed at $324,999, which I hate when they do that. It's like, what?
Well, they do that, so when you do the search, if you put like 300 to 325, it'll show. Because if you put at 285, 01, then it's going to be in another category of.
Right, but then at that point, I mean, I guess, but I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It was listed at $324,999, and then we were like, okay, great, this is great, whatever. We got into, like, we sent the offer, and he's like, listen, I have multiple offers, and I'm not talking like 3 offers, I'm talking like over 10, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, what can we do to get this house? Like,
tell you.
And he was like, no, he told us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's, I'm not going to say what. Yeah, you're not supposed to say.
What you're supposed to say is send your highest and best offer.
Yeah. So he ended up telling us, he's like, listen, this is what they're looking for. And he told us kind of straight up. Mm-hmm. And we were like, you know, that's a lot. They went from 324.
Listing price?
Yeah, to what they were asking for was 356. And I'm like, if that's what you wanted from the get-go, get closer to that. How do you expect someone to go from 325 to 356? In addition to that, he had a bunch of like conditions, which one of them was like a lease back. So for 3 months, the owner would be living there under the new buyer, new owners. And it was just too much. So we ended up finding them another place, which was like beautiful and like exactly what they were looking for. But we got lucky because we were looking for a bit and we're like, we can't find anything for exactly what they're looking for. And that's always the stress in the industry when, new properties pop up every day, but they're gone and then
the good ones go by quick.
Yeah.
Especially with rentals too.
Yeah, quick. And then, one day to next, there's like, oh, we already have an offer. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Some people will just list it already having a buyer and they'll just list it so they see it. Yeah, so it's, I mean, it's a tough, real estate is a tough industry to be in Miami. Like, particularly in Miami / like South Florida area. That's why, personally, I want to flip homes. That's what I really want to do, but not here. Definitely not here. I want to go places where, the community is growing and it's progressing, but it's not at the point that it is in Miami. That it's already established and everyone's just going crazy. I was thinking, someone had told me, was it you, to look at Arizona?
Yeah. Some guy on Facebook, he started, actually some guy from YouTube, saw some of my videos and he started contacting me. He goes, man, the Arizona market's hot right now. We gotta get in this. I know you have experience.
Is he in Arizona?
He's in Arizona.
Okay.
So that market's hot right now. I don't know too much about
I don't know too much.
But supposedly
if I want to invest over there, I need cash. That's another thing, you can't just go over there and be like,
try hard money loans.
Those are, oh my God, we gotta, not me personally, but my dad works a lot with like mortgage lenders and primary loans, and the interest rates are like 12, 15%, and it's insane.
It would be so scary getting one of those.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Because if you have it more than 3 months, then you're paying 12% for what, 6, 8 months? It's a lot.
Yeah. Have you at all like known anything about like multifamilies and like duplexes and stuff like that, or not really?
Commercial a little bit, but I've been doing more buildings and like finding commercial space for like small businesses.
So like already bought places, like they're just trying to lease the space, or?
Yeah, so like right now I have a client who wants to open up a convenience store.
Okay.
So try to find the best options, and then I send them out to him, just like a rental. You go out, you show them, and then the lease in the language is different, but it's essentially the same
thing.
Have you
learned to do those leases? Because I haven't.
No, that's why I have a partner that overlooks everything. Yeah,
okay.
I'm not trying to get sued for everything.
Yeah. No. That's the thing. The commercial leases are so different.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing this for a couple of years now, so with the residential leases and as is the FAR bars, I just go through them. I'm just so quick. I'm so used to it. But I look at commercial lease. I've only had to look at one since I've been working where I am, and I'm just like, I have no idea what to do with this. It's completely different. Completely.
Even the way you put in offers is different.
Yeah.
You got to put in the letter of intent, and then
the
LOI. Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, the multifamilies, those, especially the good ones, those fly. Because everybody wants to invest in multifamily.
Yeah, I asked you because today to my work email, I saw this one. It was like 16 units. Selling it for like 1.7.
Oh, send those to me because I know a lot of people who are looking.
Yeah.
The thing is, they go like that.
Yeah. That one's. I think it's like off market. I don't think they've listed it yet. I'll send it to you because I'm done. I'm trying to.
Actually, I have a buyer the other day. We have this. Me and my partner. I don't have it. She pretty much has it, but I just promote her stuff since we work together. Mm-hmm. There's a strip mall in a certain city. I can't talk about it. It's classified. And I'm talking to this other agent. He goes, "Oh yeah, do you think we'll be able to rezone it for multifamily? Because we're ready to pretty much buy right now. We'll send you an offer in the next hour." I'm like, "No, we can't rezone this place." So send me that.
Yeah. I mean, but this one is in like
Miami. Where's that?
Miami, like Little Havana.
No, people buy that.
Yeah.
And it's off the market. That's exactly what.
I'll send it to you. I'm gonna check to see if it's on my list because I didn't check, but I saw it and I was like, people are really buying multifamilies. Like that's why, because I asked my dad too. I was like, our broker, my old broker, he is like really into that. So yeah, we could probably do that.
Yeah, well, thank you, Priscilla, for stopping by and sharing your knowledge.
Thanks for having me. Of course. This was awesome.
So where can people find you?
Plug. Follow me. Instagram, Priscilla Reales.
There you go.
Yep.
You got it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Boom.